Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? So last week we talked about setting some goals, right? So we are going to kind of build on that today in making decisions to further our goals. But first, let's start by reviewing the section titled My Plan at the bottom of workbook page 5. If you guys don't have your workbook yet, teachers, you can go ahead and pause and hand those out. So we are going to review the action steps that you wrote down that would help you reach your goal. How many of these did you guys work on this week? Anybody work on some maybe? So if you worked on some of those, then go ahead and check each step that you completed right beside that. And did anyone actually reach their goal this week? Awesome. So in order to reach a goal, it's necessary to make good decisions. Who can tell me what a decision is? Right. So a decision is the act of making up your mind about something or a position reached after consideration. So last week you made a decision about what your goal would be. You also made decisions about what you needed to do in order to reach your goal. You make decisions every day that will affect your progress towards reaching your goal. Okay, so I'm going to read your list of actions and I want you to tell me what they have in common. So, wearing your favorite sweatshirt to school. Cutting your hair really short. Eating a chicken sandwich for lunch. Staying after school for tutoring. Looking at a classmate's paper during a test. Sleeping in until noon. Going to Friday night's football game. Telling a friend no. Buying a new pair of shoes. Playing the tuba. Coming home after curfew. Asking your crush for their phone number. So go ahead and take a look at this and think, what do these things all have in common? All right, let's see if you guys were right. So they are all decisions. Now, are they all the same kind of decisions? No, right? What makes them different? Good. So some were decisions that could be made instantly, while others required a little more consideration. You wouldn't hold up the lunch line contemplating the long-term effects of eating a chicken sandwich, right? So it can get a little ugly with 50 hungry people behind you pushing and shoving. However, when faced with big decisions to make or problems to solve, you should spend more time thinking about the best solution to that problem. So this is the decision-making model. We will use this as a guide in making good decisions. Like anything else, if you want to do well, it will require practice. The more you practice, the more these steps become second nature to you. Then, when you're faced with a big decision, you'll be able to process these steps quickly in your mind. Let's talk briefly about each of the steps in the decision-making model. So, did anybody notice what that first step was? Stop, right? So before making a decision, you need to stop. Take a moment to give yourself a chance to process your options. What was that next step? Right. Think. So you need to think about your options and their consequences. Think about what the ideal outcome would be. Also, consider what might be influencing your thoughts. You could be tired or hungry or scared or overly excited. Maybe someone is pressuring you to do something. After you evaluate the consequences of each option, what will you do? Right, so the next step is to act. So you will act out the best plan. And once you've made your decision and acted out your plan, what will you do then? Good, so then we can reflect. So when you reflect on the outcome, ask yourself, how did it go? Did things turn out as you planned? If the decision had an unfavorable outcome, what did you learn from it? So let's put the decision-making steps to work. Consider the following scenarios. So your best friend asked you to go to a special awards banquet with him on Friday night. Rumor has it he will receive the Most Valuable Player award at the end of the banquet. So you know this is a big deal and worth sitting through the entire banquet. You are so proud of your friend that you gladly accept his invitation. While you're getting ready to go to the banquet, another friend calls to see if you want to ride to a party that's happening tonight. Apparently, this person you had a crush on will be at the party, and you really want to be there. You decide to ditch your friend's awards banquet and go to the party instead. So, what happened? Did you act impulsively without thinking it through? Maybe, right? So when would it have been the best time to stop and think about the outcome and the consequence of your choice? Right, probably before making the decision to go to the party. So I want you guys to think about a time that you have ever taken an action without much forethought. And did you regret that outcome? Think about that. So if you stop to think after you make the decision, it's too late. So let's go ahead and consider a few options that we have in this scenario. So we have 3 options. One is to go to your friend's awards banquet. The next one would be to divide your time between the 2 events. Or call your friend and cancel and go to the party instead. So let's think about each of these options. We'll discuss the possible outcomes of each, keeping in mind that consequences can be both positive and negative. So what are the possible consequences of going to your friend's awards banquet? Go ahead and think about that for a minute. All right, so maybe some of our consequences. You make your friend happy. You honor your original commitment. But you might be disappointed that you didn't attend the party or get to see your crush, right? All right, so now what are the possible consequences of dividing your time between the 2 events? What do you guys think about that one? Good options. So you feel good that you were able to spend time at both events. You might be disappointed that you didn't have as much time as you'd like at either event. You may not be able to enjoy either event. And you might feel frustrated that you spent most of the evening traveling from event to event, right? So then what are the possible consequences of calling your friend to cancel and going to the party instead? Good. So you get to go to the event that you would rather attend. You feel guilty about canceling, and your friend may be hurt because you chose the party over his awards banquet. So go ahead and open your workbooks to page 6 to the section called Solve That Problem. For each dilemma, write out 3 possible options. Consider the consequences of each option and place a check next to the best solution. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go ahead and do this, okay? All right, so did you guys get to finish that? Awesome. So for this next part, I want you guys to just find someone near you and share with each other your answers for the reindeer sweater dilemma. What did you come up with on that one? All right. And what influenced your decision to choose that option? Go ahead. You'll have about 30 seconds to share with your partner on that. All right, so for the next one, which elective class did you decide to take? Share with your partner. And what influenced your decision to choose this option? And now finally, go ahead and share how did you spend the $30 and what influenced your decision to choose that option. All right, you guys had some really great choices and some really great answers on that one. So now, let's get your passports ready. You've been invited to go on a trip to Europe this summer with your best friend's family, and you want to buy a cell phone plan so you can make international calls. The phone plan you want costs $150, and you don't have the money. You will have to save money each week and watch your spending carefully to reach this goal. We're going to play a game called Spend or Save to explore your decision making as you save up to buy the phone plan between now and when you leave for the trip. So, each group is going to receive a game board, scenario cards, and game pawns. Each player, in turn, will draw a card from the deck of scenarios, read it aloud, and follow the instructions. If you saved money, you will move closer to the cell phone. If you spent money, you'll move farther away from the cell phone. Keep the game going until someone reaches the cell phone. If you use all of the cards, shuffle them, turn them over, and use them again. Also, notice that there are shortcuts on the board that allow you to move ahead a few spaces. So teachers, if you want to go ahead and divide the class into groups of 3 to 4 students, they will need the game board, scenario cards, and game pawns. Each group will. And you can go ahead and pause, and then I'll be right back here with more instructions for them. All right, so is everyone in their groups? So real quick, there are going to be 26 cards in the deck. 12 of the cards are numbered. When you draw a numbered card, discuss and identify with your group the influence behind the decision to spend or save. Once your group has identified the influence, write it down on the corresponding line. Then follow the instructions on the card. For example, card number 3 says you go to the mall with some popular guys that you don't know very well. You spend $20 treating them to ice cream. Go back 2 spaces. What influenced the decision to spend money? Remember, you can look at page 6 at the bottom to get an idea. Right, it was popularity. So there are discussion options in the silhouette at the bottom of page 6, but your group can come up with its own answers. After we finish the spend or save game, we will discuss the influences that your group identified. So I'm going to give you guys enough time to go ahead and finish this game, and then we'll be right back to discuss it, okay? All right, guys, let's bring it back. Hope you guys enjoyed that game. So, what influenced you to spend money in this game? Good. So there was all kinds of things, right? Friends, fitting in, peer pressure, the media. What influenced you to save money in this game? Your goal. That's right. So our peers, our family, our goals, and the media can influence our decisions. So remember to stop and think before deciding what to do. No matter what the influence is, you are responsible for the decisions that you make. In our next lesson, we will discuss how our emotions can influence our decisions. Have you ever made a decision based on an emotional response? Has anyone ever done that? How did it turn out? All right, so we'll learn more about identifying our emotions and how to manage them next week. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I can't wait to see you next time.